welcome to Doors and Corners, a sci-fi and fantasy film commentary podcast. I'm Brian.
And I'm Zach. And every Friday we sit down and watch a science fiction or fantasy film and give our 2 cents on its quality, production, story, and trivia.
We watch the film together, but without sounds or visuals provided to avoid copyright issues. But if you do have access, we encourage you to join us and follow along.
Here, we like to keep things casual, and there may be discussions of spoilers or sensitive materials or language. But we do try and keep things clean and family-friendly. Ultimately, the goal of this podcast is to create the experience of us all sitting down and watching this movie together.
So get ready to hit that play button, because we're about to get started.
Damn Doors and Corners, I mean, that's where they get you.
Welcome back to Doors and Corners. I'm Brian.
I'm Zach.
And tonight, we get to listen to Zach tell us about wyverns versus dragons.
Again. Tonight, we are heading back to a not a very good movie, but a nostalgic movie, at least for me, in 2002's Reign of Fire.
Yeah, I didn't see this movie until... I didn't even know this movie was a thing until like 4 or 5, like a couple years later. And the foster kids at Conan, they were like, we should watch this. And I'm like, what is this? It made so little impact. It like opened 3rd at the box office, something like that. I just never I didn't even know it was a thing. And at this point too, you know what? I think it might have been for me a combination of the foster kids and after Batman. Like, Christian Bale's in this. It's like, because I didn't really know about him as an actor until Batman Begins. So. Because I never was into American Psycho.
Yeah, I had I had an advantage. Okay, one, my family
you were a
just
child
liked
still.
Sci-fi and fantasy. I was 11 years old when this movie came out, and but there was a singular advantage in the form of my sister Shayna, my big sister,
who's a bit of a nerd herself.
Oh, huge nerd in a good way. And in a bad way sometimes, but we're all that way sometimes. She was cultishly obsessed with a 90s musical that still has a very strong following called Newsies.
Oh, yes.
There are a number of people familiar with the Broadway play of Newsies, but Newsies started as a film led by young Christian Bale. Back before the internet was filled, overflowing with all kinds of weird, crazy fan fiction about anime and stuff like that, there were a couple of just chat rooms that had popped up for fan fiction, a lot of it revolving around Buffy the Vampire Slayer, The X-Files, Star Trek, and, weirdly, Newsies. There were others, mind you, but Newsies was a big one. There's this huge community, and so she knew that there was a movie coming out with Christian Bale. And so we had to watch this movie. And I don't know if she went and saw it. I'm not cognizant enough to remember, did my parents go see it in theaters? Did Shayna go see it in theaters? I don't remember that part. But I know that we rented it, and later my dad bought it on DVD. And we watched it a lot when I was in my young teens. And we loved this movie. And so I have a huge nostalgia for it. But watching it as an older man now, oof.
Yeah, this oof. Well, this definitely was in a that era when post-apocalyptic movies kind of all looked the same. You know, very gray, very monochrome. It just, and this movie, we were talking about this before we started recording. It's a technical achievement. Like, if you would not guess, if you just watched the dragon stuff and asked somebody when you think this was made, I don't think they would guess 2002. Yeah. I think that most people
even
would
as I
guess
was
much
talking
later.
about it, I thought that it was like 2004 or something, because I'm like, oh yeah, the effects were really good in that movie.
And they were not made by it wasn't ILM. It wasn't, what Weta was, they were doing nothing but Lord of the Rings at the time. Because this came out the same, this is 2002, so this would have been Two Towers came out this year, right?
That's correct. This would have been the year of Two Towers.
I
went and looked it up too.
Yeah, but it wasn't digital. It was like Disney's in-house like effects company. It's not a company. I can't even name them. I literally just watched a video today about it, and I already lost the name because it's not anybody you've ever. It's not Digital Domain or anything like that. It's just some
Secret Lab.
Secret Lab. I'm sitting in a chair from a company called Secret Lab. Not the same company.
But
I mean, they did great work.
Fascinating. They did. They did really good work. Like, this is an incredibly influential movie in terms of visual effects, and especially when it comes to dragons.
Yeah.
Everything that we've seen in pretty much like how dragons are animated in live action came from this movie. Game of Thrones would not have the same look to it as it did without this movie.
Yeah. Well, and even I feel like even Smaug was really heavily influenced by the design of these dragons too.
Very much so, because that's exactly it, though. This movie has more thought, and this movie has 10 times as much thought and preparation and effort put in to its dragons than the actual script of the movie. Okay, this movie is just about animating dragons and finding reasons to animate dragons and setting up reasons why you would be encountering dragons. Like, somebody just wanted to make a dragon movie, and this is the dragon movie. And like Smaug and the dragons from Game of Thrones and all that stuff, they started in the original descriptions in the books and stuff as 4-limbed dragons with wings, like Draco from Dragonheart. Thank you.
Yep, Sean Connery.
But they were like, nope, we're going to base these after real animals. What's the best way to do that is removing their forelimbs and replacing it with, like bats. The foreclaws and forelimbs are the wings itself.
Yeah.
It does. It's not technically a dragon, but a wyvern.
Yeah. It is, as much as I agree with you wholeheartedly that it's, traditionally, I do think that there is something very cool about the way that they move and look when you do go for that look. It's just something. It reminds you of bats and kind of snakes and just this and the posture of kind of the neck down lower with the head coming back up and just almost kind of like the like their shoulders are up in a way, but it's more their wings. It's just like there definitely is something effective about the silhouette when it's
well, that's because they're so heavily based on real animals.
Yeah.
Like, the amount of research that went into these creatures was nuts. They were designing them for years before the movie even filmed. And
because this movie,
such a great job.
This movie, like, they started working on the ideas like in the mid 90s or like 96, I want to say, or something like that. Like there was
earlier. It was just after Jurassic Park.
Okay. Yeah, because there was, I know that one of several of the videos I watched about this film talked about, that this movie was not like a ripoff of, it wasn't trying to copy, like it was in the pre-development way before some of the common things that people think, oh, it's just ripping off this or this.
Mm-hmm.
That no, but it's this also, I did not realize. So when I saw this movie, it was closer to when Matthew McConaughey, when I became more aware that he was kind of breaking out of his rom-com roles. He was starting to be taken more seriously. He was doing, the kind of, his transition into kind of his second career almost. When I saw this, like,
when he started being method.
Yeah. But it was weird because I was like, oh, way back in 2002, he was doing other things because, back then I was like, a lot of people just thought of him strictly as the guy opposite Kate Hudson in rom-coms.
Yeah, and, I didn't really take him seriously as an actor until like Interstellar. I just didn't pay attention to him because in my head he was just the stoner guy from romantic comedies. And to be totally honest, because I didn't see this movie for a long time, I didn't put two and two together. I didn't realize that this was Matthew McConaughey in this role until I was older and looking back at like my childhood movies with the knowledge that I had gained, and I'm like, oh my god, that was Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah. Well, and then this was Batman Begins 2005. So Christian Bale that was the next major film, right? That Christian Bale made after this. So he was getting himself into shape Because he's built pretty good. This, yeah, I mean, there's one
Actually,
more.
I want to say that he was getting himself out of shape.
See, I thought this was after
Um,
Mechanic.
the machinist.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
No, I believe that this was directly before the machinist.
No,
Um,
I'm checking.
I'm double checking that now. For those of you who don't know, Christian Bale started a movie called The Machinist in the early 2000s in which he lost a ton of
Yeah.
weight. Yeah, this was 2 years before The Machinist. He was like deathly
So
skinny
he went, man,
for his
he
role
went
in The Machinist.
back and forth, man. Because he was big in this movie, and then back down, dude.
Oh, he did it like 4 times throughout the
Yeah.
2000s. Up, down, up, down, up, down. It was insane. And he said that it was intensely irresponsible and
Yeah,
it has affected his health today.
Yeah,
Because you know what he also did this same year was Equilibrium.
that's and Equilibrium. He was pretty. He was thinner for that film. He definitely wasn't bulky.
He was muscular.
Yeah,
he
but he wasn't thick.
Big,
You know,
but he was, yeah.
because
He wasn't even going to do muscular for this movie. It wasn't until he saw how muscular Matthew McConaughey had gotten himself that he decided to bulk up a little bit.
Matthew McConaughey, no sleeves allowed. So, but yeah, why don't you give us let's go ahead and jump on into this. Why don't you give us the quick rundown of the cast and crew?
Yahoo! Cast and crew.
Cast and crew.
So this is, I was looking at the wrong notes. I'm like, this is Christian Bale.
He is in this
This
movie.
is Reign of Fire, 2002, PG-13, 1 hour and 41 minutes long, nice and brisk. Directed by Rob Bowman, one of only 3 major films by Rob Bowman. He's been primarily a television person. He directed the X-Files movie, 1998, big tentpole movie that wasn't very good, unfortunately. And then after this, he directed 2005's Elektra, which was just so bad. And
yeah.
he went back to television.
Some people are better at that area.
Written by Greg Chabot, Kevin Paterka, Matt Greenberg, and several others. The movie went through several different writers as it was evolving over the course of almost a decade of development. Starring, of course, Matthew McConaughey, Christian Bale, Isabella Scorupco,
Bond girl.
Bond girl, and Gerard Butler. There are other supporting roles, but essentially it's like just those 4.
Yeah.
You also have a gentleman by the name of Scott Mouter, who he hasn't really acted in much at all. He has like a major role in this thing, and he literally has only 4 acting credits. Like, that's it. He just didn't really do much else. And then I just because I'm a huge Trekkie, I do have to mention Alice Krieg and Alexander Siddig.
Yeah.
So they are also in this movie.
Dr. Bashir.
And
the
the
Borg
Borg Queen.
Yep.
So yeah, that is Reign of Fire, and we're going to watch it now.
We are going to. And as always, encourage you guys to follow along. We are going to hit that play button in 3, 2, 1, go.
Play. Yeah, dude, this whole movie, I was going to wait until the end to say this, but I'm going to be a big drama king and just go ahead and say it now. This movie should be remade.
Oh, okay. I wasn't expecting you to say that.
I want either a remake or some sort of weird spiritual sequel to it or something. This is a fun idea. And I think that it could be done better. And I think it could be done today. And could be a lot of fun.
Okay, I just had this go through my mind. I'm curious what you think. What if you had this movie in a like Mad Max style, where basically the entire movie is one massive, like, you're just following a caravan who's just trying to get from one place to another and dealing with dragons along the way.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be great. Yeah, that'd be really good. I was thinking like something where you get people who are like trying to get to some like kind of like an old quest like adventure, okay? And you got people and they're traveling to get to a city that supposedly exists, almost like Zion in the Matrix, right? That the dragons can't touch. It's like super high up in the mountains or something in like Tibet, where the dragons are, it's like it's too cold for them to go and fly properly and stuff like that, so it's safe. And yeah, I think it could be really well done. This, a post-apocalyptic
Slow motion
sci-fi
pigeons.
adventure with dragons.
Yeah. So the only, and I know this is a ridiculous issue to bring up because it's not the point of this movie. But one of the many videos that I watched about this film in preparation for this episode of our fine podcast here is the absurdity that dragons that are shown to be as easily killed by the various things they're killed by in this movie would ever have a shot at actually retaking. I mean, the idea that we would have gone to nukes is just, for the sake of, well, we got to make it as, we got to jump to the post-apocalyptic thing. Humankind, would we have casualties? Yes. Would there be problems? Yes. Would we wipe these things out? 100%. There is there is no scenario.
I disagree.
No, there's no way, man. These things would be taken out by the kind of weapons that rednecks have in Virginia.
But imagine that these things are moving so quickly and proliferating so quickly. That's one of the big things, is that you can take out 100 of them and there will be 100 more the next day. As long as there is stuff to eat and burn and pretty much feed them, they spawn extremely quickly.
Yeah.
And so I always kind of like this idea.
We got a lot of bullets, man.
We do have a lot of bullets, but these things are also shown to be quite intelligent. And so you make it so that you have these nearly sapient creatures.
But as
and they're
presented,
able to know where to hit move,
Yeah. I think as presented in this film, take it at face value for how intelligent these things are, but also how easily they're killed. I think that you would have I almost think of it as like a World War Z situation, like the book, not the film, where you would definitely have like a crisis point. Things would kind of, really get bad, especially in the big populated areas. But human beings are incredibly adaptive and very ferocious ourselves. And I don't care how intelligent these things are. Human beings are still geniuses in comparison. And we would figure this out, and we would wipe the floor with them once we figured out an effective strategy to combat them. We've done it many times. We dominate this planet so hard, it's not even funny. It's actually dangerous how badly we do it. And I think that you would have a rough couple years while we figured it out, and most of the major population centers would be, hit bad. You'd probably have 1 billion casualties, and then we would take care of business. I genuinely think that's how it would actually go down, which would be an interesting film.
You're totally right. You're totally right. So this whole thing with this kid just walking in here, here's Alice Big.
This is this is an ocean nightmare.
Irresponsible.
I know this is in England, but isn't England even stricter about this stuff than America?
They are, but at the same time, even in strict areas, people still do stuff like this. I have seen it with my own eyes, where it's just like, oh yeah, that's the kid. That's the boss's.
Well, it ultimately comes down to
she's gonna go see him.
Oh yeah, it ultimately comes down to the people on site.
Mm-hmm.
But this whole
the part that really gets me is in a couple minutes, letting him go in there like that, but also when this guy lights up a cigarette next to an underground void that's probably filled with gas pockets, and he's gonna blow himself to smithereens.
It's so bad. This is just these are some of the most irresponsible adults ever.
Yeah, this is absolute nonsense. It's just you got to set up that the kid has some sort of, or the main character has some sort of connection. Dun, dun, dun.
I do genuine, as much as we love our genre stuff, right? I am very glad that this movie and it was a very active decision, obviously, by the writers and the director, to not go the magic route. That this is just a straight up no, it's just an old species, just just hibernating. There's no I think it might have been Caravan of Garbage. They're talking about I'm so glad that this kid did not have some kind of spiritual connection to the dragons now because they got their crap in his eyes.
His dragon eye vision.
Yeah, that it's just
sense when they're near.
Yeah. Ooh.
No, I wholeheartedly agree on that.
I mean, and there's nothing wrong with that. Heck, like a good magic-filled fantasy story. That's great.
Yeah, that's called a Dragon Soul Sorcerer. It's a subclass in Dungeons and Dragons.
But this movie plays it so straight, and it is a nice alternative.
Yeah.
He's really lucky this dragon was just kind of waking up and didn't quite have the mixture down, you know?
Right? And just like, what is this? The movie, I like that, even though it has some pacing problems in the middle, the beginning is pretty effective. It moves along at a decently
they
brisk
get to
pace.
it here.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just
now he's yelling that it's unsafe.
Oh man. The safe ways. Oh yeah, I do appreciate that she had this right there, the Iowa station, and it was available, and you know,
not that he's using it right.
No, he's not, but at least it was there.
Yeah. And then but this guy just lighting up a smoke in this tunnel. I'm just like, bruh, gas buckets. What are you doing?
Well, that's bad. So one of the things, and this is like probably the most quoted stat about this movie, people love to talk about how much propane and diesel were used, but it is truly like amazing. It's like, what?
Yeah.
I mean, how many tons of propane did they use? Like 800,000, something like that.
Something like that. Essentially, like the majority of the explosions. This beginning is actually when they don't really use much real fire. It's mostly CG fire here, but even this was a miniature, and they did actually use some real fire in it. But because this, I believe, was part of a reshoot, this opening, they have the CG fire there at the beginning.
Yeah. But I mean, that's one, as good as the dragons look, 2002, CG fire was still, I mean, it was a big deal how good the Balrog looked, because CG fire was,
CG fire still is difficult.
It is. But like, Weta really kind of broke ground on that. And yeah, I mean, but the fire looks so good in this movie because it is all, you know, it's propane and diesel. It works.
Yeah. And what do you think of this whole like scrapbook voiceover thing?
I mean, you're trying to jump forward, 20 something years?
Like 13 years.
Well, because it's
supposed to be 2008 to 2020, so 12 years.
Sorry, 2008. Okay, this wasn't supposed to be the year it came out. Okay.
No.
It's a better way. In info dumps through voiceovers and montages of stuff, it's almost never something that I enjoy. But this is done pretty well. Part of it is Christian Bale's got a great voice. You know, he does a good job with it. I like that you get the combination of clips and, you know, like printed media. There's it's above average for what it is. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah. It reminds me a lot of like the recent MonsterVerse movies, like Godzilla, Skull Island, stuff like that. They all have openings like this, and they look really good. They're fun, lots of Easter eggs.
I do think
they use some actual footage as well.
Yeah. I do not like this, like the world going back and just kind of, you know, going gray, and it's like the CG of that was not great. It looked like
very Waterworld.
Yeah, well, also like kind of just like an animation, like computer animation. I mean, it was obviously, but like the red lines and kind of the black and then going to gray. It was just, you know.
Yeah.
Only one species dragons. Is getting out alive. Okay.
So,
go ahead.
This movie, one of the reasons why a lot of people think that this movie didn't do well, and it didn't, it pretty much broke even, I believe. Especially after home video sales.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like a huge profit. But one of the things about it that I distinctly remember, because I remember seeing trailers for this thing, the trailers were a lie. They were straight up false advertising.
Yeah.
They had this line that was in every single thing, which was the female lead, Isabella
the Bond girl.
Natalia from Goldeneye. From Goldeneye. That's who she is to me. It's having this line of, but how did they go from 1 to 1 million in less than a year? It was in every single trailer. It's not in the movie. Yeah. It's just straight up not.
Well, they also show like a fleet of helicopters.
Yeah. a fleet of helicopters engaging dragons in the skies of London. It's not in the movie. And it's just it's so stupid. Like, why?
Didn't the trailer
Whose
also
decision was that?
like make it seem like it was way further in the future, like 2080 something or
Yes, it straight up said that it was taking place in 2080.
yeah. I think this is the kind of film
Yeah.
that if it had been marketed better, it might have done better. And it's because they, there's actually I think this is a film that you remember being more action heavy than it actually is.
Yeah, I certainly did.
Yeah, because you can even tell. I mean, it was expensive, and this movie was not made for a huge budget, right around $60 million, I believe.
That's still a pretty decent budget by today's standards. That's like $120 million budget.
Yeah, but I was saying we've gotten used to blockbusters being 200 million plus on a regular basis, thanks to superhero films and stuff. But it's, they still only were able to get dragons in, a handful of scenes.
They're in less than 12 minutes of the movie.
Yeah. But we do, like you can see here, everything is just a shade of gray. It's just ash. And granted, they say the world's supposed to be that way, but man, this movie is devoid of color. Like Zack Snyder would be proud of this film.
There's only two colors in this movie. It's gray and orange.
And fire.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't for the fire, there wouldn't be the orange.
Yeah. So one of the things about this movie that stands out to me as being very praiseworthy is the set design. The production design of this movie is excellent. The characters look dirty and gross for most of it, like they would be. Everything looks used and scrappy, and it definitely looks like some of the people are stealing the allotted protein.
Yep. They have a
from
gym.
Everybody else.
Well, the gym is the mind, right?
Right. Which I grew up with a gentleman, and my best friend Zayn's dad, who multiple times would say that you want the perfect beach body? There is one way to get it better than anything. It'll be faster and more effective. You wheelbarrow around rocks for 4 hours a day, if not 6 hours a day.
Okay.
Like 5 days a week. Just wheelbarrows full of rocks. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And you will have the perfect beach body ever. And he just insisted on it. I heard him say it probably like 10 times.
That's funny.
And I guess that's what he did as a teenager. And he had like washboard abs.
Okay.
You want to talk about this?
This is such a great little nerd thing. Just the idea that even in this future, we still got Star Wars.
Uh-huh.
Love it. All
For those of
the
you who haven't,
oh, no, go for it. Yeah, go for it.
for those of you who haven't seen this, they're reenacting the end of Empire Strikes Back as like a play for the children. Which this was partially done because it's Star Wars is Christian Bale's favorite movie. And he thought that it'd be a great idea. And also, one of the children in the audience is by a young actor by the name of Jack Gleason, who went on to be known as King Joffrey in Game of Thrones.
And he stopped acting because he did such a good job that
I can see him. He's right there in the front.
Yeah, ruined his life.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well,
this is great.
he
I'm
still will
exaggerating.
come back for acting, but he has mostly retired. And yeah, great actor.
I love that all these kids are like in Jedi robes almost. Like they all look like they're not Jedi robes. So they're all in like what Jango Fett's Boba Fett as like a kid clone was wearing in Attack of the Clones.
Right. Yeah, I can see that. Having them all in like the same shade, I think, is a really interesting idea. I think it's a good idea. It really shows off like they're making the stuff from like they have the same bolt of cloth.
Yep.
And this whole thing, like the putting safety information in a prayer, in like religious stuff, that's something that happened all throughout history.
Oh yeah,
and is very prominent in the Bible actually itself.
Well, I
really like that detail.
Yeah, well, it's an effective way to ingrain knowledge, to make certain ideas just part of your core being, especially as kids, because it's just if you repeat something enough and you just make it something that is always there, it's yeah.
Yeah,
I do feel like they do a great job in this movie of showcasing a mixture of like, this is not, we haven't gone full, medieval. We still have, electricity. There's still vehicles. There's still understanding. It's not like people have forgotten, but there's just, obviously without the infrastructure to support technology, you'd get this weird mixture of using it when you can and awareness of it, but also, old stuff. The idea they go back to a castle is I love the idea of that because a stone building, of course, makes a lot of sense if you're mostly worried about fire breathing things. But they still have the mixture of old and new.
You wouldn't have a lot of wood left over.
You wouldn't. I do like the mixture of old and new, I guess is what I'm saying. I feel like it's done well, and it's also in a way that I hate to use the word realistic in this kind of movie, but that's what I'll say.
There's a believability to it.
There's a good way to put it. That's a better way to put it. See, you thought of it.
Now, one thing that's really interesting that almost defies believability.
A lot of fire extinguishers
too. Right. It was cheaper for the production to build their own castle than to rent one.
When I heard about that, I was like, that's crazy. It was said specifically renting one and then all the permitting because, of course, they're all historical, all these rules they would have to follow and all these, to obviously film in a real castle. You can't just modify it and bolt stuff into it and roll stuff around. It's like... If you build your own, you can do whatever heck you want.
All the permitting and the insurance.
Oh, yeah. What happens if you damage?
This is one of those things that I'm talking about with kind of like pacing problems with this movie, is that you have this whole thing going on here. This is kind of the opening action sequence, but they take so long to set up the opening action sequence that it's like... It gets a little boring here.
Yeah.
And you're just kind of waiting around like, okay, we're just kind of seeing how they live, which I appreciate. I like, they have some communal problems. They have some issues that they're working out. And the kid coming to just sleep in his room because he's scared, right? I like that. That's good. But yeah, it's a little slow. It's a little weirdly paced.
A little patch of green on the ground there was nice. It really stood out.
Yeah.
Where they'd be farming, obviously. I love that they're like down in like a quarry. It looks almost.
Yeah, it'd be difficult to spot from above.
I like the tension building here. I like the music. Just some simple beats. The idea that there's taking food makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Tomatoes would be a really good crop to be able to harvest in this particular climate and this environment, and because they grow so fast and they grow so prolific, they proliferate so well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Still Morse code.
I assume that potatoes, carrots, stuff like that would be the crop that you would want in this situation.
Yeah, you would revert back to some really basic foods, obviously. Meat would be a huge, a big treat to get meat.
Yeah.
Actually,
if they could get some chickens or something,
Yeah, and some eggs. With chickens, that'd be like the big trade-off, right? Like, all right, what's more important to you, continuing to get eggs or enjoying some chicken?
Right. That's when you just breed enough that you can do both.
Yes,
but then
eventually.
you have to worry about the dragons being attracted to a nice little...
Yep. Well, it's like the sheep in How to Train Your Dragon. They bring the dragons. They're like, there's sheep here.
Right? So that lady just being like, oh, it's the guy in the field. Like, it was... That's when I learned about ADR. Because it's just like...
Yeah, it doesn't.
Why does she sound so stupid?
It's unfortunate when you can tell that was recorded in a studio later versus that was recorded on set the day of. It's just it takes somebody who's really good at mastering audio to be able to and record it and understand how to match it, and for the actor also to be able to hear a lot of times recordings of themselves and kind of all right, let's get that same tone there because it takes you out of it. I mean, it helps that we're watching. You know, when we watch this while we're recording, obviously we watch it with very, very low volume and subtitles. But when you're watching this at normal volumes, it's it's bad. It takes you out of it.
Yeah.
So
Like
not only fire, but they also the munchies.
Yeah. Chomp chomp.
There we go.
Yeah,
it's just fire everywhere.
Look at all look at all the fire, all the smoke.
Because the smoke they primarily did
big...
with a diesel, and the fire was mostly propane. But go ahead.
Do you think that they have like these big cloaks or something that's supposed to be like camouflage almost or something? I
think a combination. Well, because they established later in the film that the dragons don't have the best eyesight.
Yeah,
but they almost act like they're not really aware of it. I don't know if it's a combination of just big cloaks like that or just easy to make. You don't need any kind of complicated sewing techniques to do it. It probably could be partially camouflage. Also, just this is England, right? It's kind of damp and chilly all the time, isn't it?
It really is. For those of you who don't know, I lived in England for a time, and damp and chilly is exactly how I would describe it. I really liked it, though it did give me some lung problems for a little while.
I've heard that it's one of the reasons the British are such a resilient people is because they're used to being miserable.
Yeah, no, they very much are a resilient people. And despite having some like teeth problems and how they're formed, they actually tend to have incredibly healthy teeth, even if not the best looking. I know, it's bizarre.
Yeah. This movie does genuinely work. It does work hard to build tension, to interesting like firefighters and stuff, and like really high quality firefighting gear would become very, very sought after, like old world stuff. Yeah.
But
it's like I call this like they're managing to keep the dragon like threat alive, even though we've only seen the dragon come in twice or three times, and just quick little shots of like fire. Yeah. And I love the detail of like the fire extinguisher going down like over the tires, kind of keeping the rubber intact. Little details like that.
Because that's really important.
Oh yeah.
And just that glory shot of the dragon. It's so quick, but it's so effective.
Ooh.
And that guy just like, dude, duck, Devin, duck.
Yeah, just. Ooh.
Get on down. Also, like, the car stalling would be kind of believable, if something melted inside, and also they put it in a place where the other car couldn't get around them if they wanted to. Yeah. I like that kind of continuity because that's one of those things that you see in film that it doesn't always make sense. Like, oh, they're stuck, but they could easily go around if somebody was just thinking on their heads. This movie does create a lot of situations where their actions are forced because of the environment around them in a pretty good way.
It's odd to me that in some ways this movie does a good job of keeping the actions of its characters and kind of how things work, like making sense. And then when you get the group of Americans that come in with their dragon killing technique, it's just nonsense. Like I
actually kind of disagree on that.
The freaking, let's jump out of helicopters and like skydive with the dragons with like nets.
Yeah. Well, the particular helicopter that they have is one of those known for its speed. And no matter how well you design these dragons, they're never going to be as fast as a helicopter. If you have it, because one of the things that they do in that is they show that these guys, they head out, they set up this 3D targeting system that's able to track the dragon, okay? They track the dragon, and they're able to keep it on the run with this helicopter. They get the helicopter that goes up really, really high, and they specify in the movie that something happens that has the Archangels drop at an abnormally low area, and in heavy, dense clouds and fog, okay? So if you have it to where you have the dragon's attention following the helicopter, and it's going real fast, and these guys are able to get to a position where they can hit it with bollards and bring it down and then parachute, that is actually a really smart way of doing it. It is a little outlandish, I agree, but if it goes perfectly and you had the ability to perfect it, that's actually really smart. I don't know. It
Yeah,
set
but,
something
like,
up in me. Like,
yeah,
it's
but it's
realistic. There
it-
are better ways.
it's a very movie way of doing it, because realistically, we would just 50 caliber machine guns would become very sought after, because you literally could hunt these dragons with P-51s.
Oh, dude, that would be so freaking
But,
cool.
like, I mean, they'd be-
Dragons versus P-51s would
That
be
would
like
be so effective.
That's the movie I want to see.
P-51, you've got 8. I count them 8 50 cal guns in the wings. They would shred these dragons, and that's
So, yeah,
that's
my
70-year-old technology.
My thoughts watching this were very much like, oh man, imagine if you could have a pitched battle, essentially, because if resources were suddenly stuck, right, then you wouldn't need, or you wouldn't be able to use planes, right?
Yeah.
Because planes are one of those things that even regular jumbo jets have things that are replaced practically every flight.
Yeah.
They're very difficult to maintain, where helicopters are a lot easier to maintain.
Yeah.
Here's our
Yeah, Dr. Bashir.
Alexander Siddig, Dr. Bashir, Gabriel, if you like the Nativity story, and Ra's al Ghul, if you like, what was he in where he was Ra's al Ghul? Gotham.
I never saw that one.
Yeah, he was Ra's al Ghul in Gotham.
I could see that.
But yeah, he was good. But it's just like having helicopter battles with like door gunners versus dragons would be so stinking cool to me.
That would be cool. But I mean, I feel like
that's the one I want to watch.
I feel like just infantry fighting vehicles, Bradleys, and I mean the Russians have, like 10,000 of them. The Chinese have so many. I mean, with like 20 millimeter Bushmasters, these machines, and they're already armored. You could, I mean, human beings would just modify these things very quickly to be like, all right, we need to insulate these things, make them a little more, resilient to heat. But you have 20 millimeter rounds. I mean, we're like, and if you go nowadays too, gosh, drones and all kinds of stuff, you could.
Yeah,
there's so many things. Like it's not just one thing. I mean, again, because the reason why I have such a problem, it looks cool. I get you, and it's not like it's a very movie solution, because it's like it's outlandish and it's also very American. That we're going to do something just in this crazy way. But they also then show that literally you can just you can shoot them with a harpoon too. And it's like one of those seems way less complicated.
Like the bullet resistant nature of like their outer hides, and to like get them underneath.
That is a thing though that I've always had a problem with. I had a problem with in the Quiet Place movies. Anytime where you have an organic creature, that's like, oh, we can't. I'm like, are you kidding? We have. Do you know how much steel and concrete? Like you know what there is not an organic hide capable of getting off the ground that that a heat round from a tank would not just shred. It's not possible. I mean, especially if it was flexible enough and light enough to allow a creature to fly. Like we can get into just the physics of when you have an A-10's 30 millimeter cannon. You're not going to convince me that those Dragonhide is really tough. It's tougher than ceramic armor on an Abrams tank. Get out of here. It's not. Shut up.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yep.
I'll shut up now.
You're totally right. If I was doing this, I would set it so that this event happens, or maybe even happens because of a mass, like World War III has happened.
Ooh.
Okay. World War III has happened.
I'm with you.
And it's gone really badly. Resources are short. Communication between countries isn't great. Production is in the crapper. And so you don't have a lot of resources to field that kind of technology. And then you're able to make it so that this incredibly difficult to address enemy that is very smart and proliferates very, very quickly is now a major threat to human existence.
Yeah. Well,
that if I was writing
yeah.
one to be as realistic as possible,
I would be.
that's how I would start.
That would definitely help a lot. Well, it just struck me. It's similar to the Planet of the Apes, the War of the Apes situation. The reason that those movies work is because of the virus. Because there's because if you just had monkeys getting smart, humans would win. You right?
Yeah.
It's not, it wouldn't happen fast enough. We would adapt and figure it out. But you kill off 90% of the world's population, and you have monkeys get smart. Now you've changed the math. And so something like that. I like that idea. I hadn't thought of that, and I like it. We should write it.
I'm into it.
Man, Matthew McConaughey is just like he's an impressive figure in this. Like, he is intense. The shaved head, got the tats. The guy is jacked. Like, I mean, Matthew McConaughey he's a good actor. He genuinely is. I believe that wholeheartedly. He's an intense, emotional actor, but he just has this like edge in this movie that I feel like this was really in that early part of just like, I am not doing another freaking rom-com. You guys are going to take me seriously. If I have to shave my head and go to the gym a lot to do it.
And this was when he really did want to prove himself in that way. And the result is that he went kind of method.
Yeah.
Which
you make everybody
is
call him his
not
character
always
name.
great. Yes, on set, he insisted that everybody refer to him as Van Zandt.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, Denton Van Zandt. What the hell kind of a name is Denton Van Zandt? I love it so much. It's so over the top.
Well, and Christian Bale is famous for being a pretty intense actor too, right? So.
Very method as well. So, despite that, apparently the production of this movie went pretty easy. Filmed in something like 60 some odd days, which is really good for a movie of this type. No like crazy drama behind the scenes. There was an interview where it was brought up like to Alexander Siddig, and he said, "Oh yeah, that was just a movie. Like, I remember almost nothing except that Matthew McConaughey wanted to be referred to as his Van Zandt." It was just like, to the majority of people in this movie, it's kind of a nothing movie.
Yeah. But that's kind of right. You want movies like that every now and then. We're like, this is just, we made a movie. We made a movie about dragons, and we were in Ireland. We got to spend a few months in Ireland because this was all shot in Ireland, right?
It was all shot in Ireland. One of the coolest things about it, which, man, I would have loved to see where this could have gone. Okay, the director Rob Bowman, his background being largely in TV and also in visual effects and production design. He was friends with a gentleman by the name of Hans Rudi Geiger, known as H.R. Geiger or H.R. Giger.
Okay.
You're familiar with him?
Not really. I'm sorry.
You're not familiar with H.R. Geiger?
The
guy who designed the Alien?
Okay. I felt like you're saying the name, and I'm like, I know this name. I know as soon as you tell me who it is, I'm going to feel like an idiot. And yes, now I do. So thank you for that, buddy.
H.R. Geiger.
Yes.
So this guy designed the Alien.
He
did the sketches for the Necronomicon.
Yeah. He had some issues upstairs, right?
Yeah.
He's a disturbed man.
Yeah, definitely. But they wanted him to design the dragons. His fiance was the one who was like, "No, don't do that. That sounds like a stupid project." And so he didn't. And I'm like bummed, because imagine if H.R. Geiger had designed the dragons for this movie.
I love the imagery of Matthew McConaughey straddling the 50 cal on this tank as it just rolls in. Man, the practicality of driving tanks around, this is one thing where like the logistical needs of tanks, they burn through so much fuel. It's nuts. I mean, World War II, France is still covered in like they called them jerry cans, right? Just like the sheer amount of fuel
Mm-hmm.
that was just being like right there. I appreciate that they just showed a truck drive by with a bunch of drums on it. I mean, at least they got that because
Yeah.
man, a tank burns through some gas, man.
And the thing is, if the world went to hell as fast as they say that it did, then there would be a lot of strategic reserves that weren't accessed.
Yeah.
That if somebody knew where they were located, they'd be able to dig them up and use them. And this is only supposed to be like 12 years after, right?
Yeah.
So, 12 years, and so if they had knowledge of where there are United States military fuel storage, they could still genuinely have access to this crap.
Yeah.
So that's one of those things where I'm not mad about it.
Oh, no,
in
I'm
terms
not.
of believability.
No,
But-
it's believable. It's just one of those that, like, man, by choosing to drive this thing around, you're really making sure that you have to hold on to a lot of. Throws him an apple. Man, that'd be a big deal. It's a green apple.
Yeah, that'd be a heck of a thing.
Yeah. Love the helicopter. Just that happened to be a pad that was strong enough for a helicopter to land on.
Right?
I mean,
It's like,
it look-
here's a
There's helicopter
here's a
pad.
spot.
I mean, the contrast. I love that she's got desert fatigues, but they're the blue kind, like the navy kind. We called those the chocolate chip.
Wait, so those are American? I thought that those were
No.
like Russian or Eastern European.
So there's variations of them. Those look like okay. So I actually don't know for sure. I know that the desert, like your Gulf War, the first one, Desert Storm 1, the chocolate chips were a big deal, and then also like in Black Hawk Down, your what the Rangers and stuff were wearing was called chocolate chip, and it was black and white specks on top of tan, and the Navy had a version, I think, but those also could be Russian. It makes sense though that you would go to that something like that. I mean, they could just be really dirty. Also, like you said, I love that all the clothing is crazy dirty because they're obviously they're making a big deal of the fact that these are Americans. So
Yeah.
you would hope there would be an American camo pattern they're wearing.
That's true, but she also has an Eastern European accent.
Oh
so,
yeah, she's definitely not American, which is funny.
yeah. I think that they might have been going for like for a while. I thought she was supposed to be like French, Quebec, like that type of thing. But I had a comment I was gonna make, and I don't remember what it was. It's gone. I was never sure of where she was supposed to be from.
Yeah, I do appreciate the variety of weapons. You've got quite a variety of stuff that kind of makes sense. Just
Yeah, you had one guy who walked by with a Thompson earlier,
yeah. Oh, you
and
just
then he's sitting there. That's an FN FAL, isn't it?
Mhm. Yep, it is.
That's
Which
an
should
FAL.
be, yeah, it would be. I mean, totally realistic. There'd be a ton of those. Just being easy to get to. Is
Especially in England.
Yep. Oh yeah. I love that just fire extinguishers everywhere.
Yeah, that's true. And
coffee. Although, if this is England, wouldn't it be tea?
I don't know. Because I don't know how you could grow either of those, to be honest.
Yeah, they would definitely be luxuries. Definitely luxuries.
Yeah, they have some just sort of like backstock that they've just kind of gathered.
Well, it's like I remember. Well, it's, okay, so I didn't recognize her at first in this film because she looks so different from in GoldenEye. Because GoldenEye, she just
Really?
Well, to me, just the hair. It's about the hair. It just threw me off. Just the straight, longer hair in this film versus the shorter, curly hair in GoldenEye
Yeah.
that she had. But it's definitely a guy's movie. But I think that she holds her own pretty well in this film too.
She does, and there's no like unnecessary shoehorned in love story to it.
Yeah.
Like they kind of imply something at the end, but it's not just like that they have a little bit of rapport here. You could even say chemistry, but they're not like, oh my gosh, I'm instantly in love with you, type of thing.
Yeah.
And I like that.
Well, and even here, just the idea that like, yeah, they're kind of connecting to time, but ultimately he's still much more interested in, I need information. You're still somebody new. Why,
What do you do?
why are you guys here? And two, I mean, it would be immediately suspicious. I can imagine too of like, why are there Americans here? Like, why are there Americans in England here specifically? And
Yeah.
obviously we reveal later, the whole mail thing. And what do you think of the whole, the idea of just like the one male and then just fertilizing, thousands of eggs and just kind of that whole thing?
It's convenient.
Well, you've got to have a silver bullet type situation. You got to have like solution that this group of people might actually be able to do. Because obviously, at the scale this movie went to, you can't actually have them take out mass amounts of dragons, right? You got one helicopter, you got some dudes. So you've got to find some way to like a small group could affect a big change, right? You have to design it around something like that.
I do understand that. Because I think part of it is just being in this day and age's mindset of like wanting to be really thorough and have room to create like franchises and stuff. I like the idea of there being, the male is going to be the big one, but I don't necessarily. It feels kind of unrealistic for there to only be just the one in the world.
Yeah.
And so I'm sitting here like, what if they figured out that there are very few males and the male territories are, limited. You take out the male and the dragon population in that area tends to die. And then they figure out like, this was the original, the progenitor. And by killing him, that'll affect like the worldwide population in one way or another. And so it leaves it open so that at the end, it's not just like, kill one, kill them all, Mothership, Avengers style, but it's dealing the potential like mortal blow,
Yeah.
and then there's still room for like, now we have to go kill the other dragons, and boom, you have an opening for a franchise. But again, that's probably not called for.
Yeah. I do think it's interesting, the idea that the size and shape of these little like things they're throwing down on the ground, that they're calling it radar, yet it's not really how this would work. I mean, at least not with equipment that they're showing.
Yeah.
I mean, those things are just literally coffee cans on sticks.
Yeah. Yeah, because radar...
You need the power to send a signal out. Like radar requires a return of a signal, and that signal you have to have sent out. So they're not showing anything that would be capable of transmitting a signal. I mean, maybe there's some tech here, but I mean, it's again. I think that's where the way you broke it down, the idea of if the dragons were, you know what it is. I think that this poor motorcycle guy. How is he?
I'm used to doing this in Kentucky.
Well, and the fact that like he's so close to their base that Christian Bale can still see him with binoculars, so he's like not that far away, yet he's so lagging behind getting his in position is kind of funny to me. Like it's just one of those movie things where if you really track it, it's like that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, if they had one quick scene where you see that he's having like trouble starting the bike or something, make it a little bit more believable. Like I said, this is just one of those things where part of it is my own nostalgia wanting it to be better. Yeah. But with small tweaks, you could take these situations and make them a little bit more like you could tweak the understandable to make it more dire.
So I was thinking about this. I feel like this solution to hunting the dragons would work better to me if part of what was established wasn't that there were so many dragons, that there's just so many. Because this seems like, this could be effective, but like, wait a minute, we're talking like the world was overwhelmed because there's so many dragons. But if dragons were more rare but very difficult to kill, then this would be like, okay, this is kind of crazy, but it works. Like, there's no way that's freaking radar, man. There's no power source. What do you got, a AA battery in there?
I mean, at least a couple 9 volts.
A couple 9 volts. Anyways, but you know what I mean? Like the idea that, all right, we it's much easier to kill these things on the ground. And so getting them to the ground is really key. And so the idea that, all right, so we do this thing because the whole point is to get them on the ground is
Yeah.
makes this a little more plausible versus the idea that, no, the sky is full of them. There are millions of dragons. They overwhelmed it to the point where we had to use nukes. There were so many of them.
Yeah.
Man, Matthew McConaughey, he's just got that intense, like, head down, big eyes. He's always sweating. You know, he's just like, dude, it's just...
He's scary in this movie. It's
Yeah,
just,
like...
He's so intense.
Yeah. Man, this is like intense cloud cover all of a sudden, too. It's like...
I mean, it is England.
See, this is I feel like I feel like I want Tom Cruise to do this sequence just because he would do it for real.
I was thinking about that, and they wanted to do it actually.
They tried, yeah.
Yeah, they really wanted to do actual skydiving, but there were all kinds of safety things, and there's like, nope. I do genuinely kind of wonder if there was some inspiration here with the trailer for the 2014 Godzilla.
Oh,
that like amazing first trailer with the
Oh yeah, sorry, I like genuinely got caught up here all of a sudden in like what was happening. Which is this sucks. The dragon.
Yeah.
But I mean this is a good sequence. Like, and I know that this was all they tried to do this for real. Oh man, what a way to go.
Yeah.
You
Poor
just,
Alvarez.
yeah, you said a little mark on the ground there. But they tried to shoot this for real. They really oh man, you're a snack.
Yeah, that's a great one.
Oh.
You at least show the one guy popping a shoot.
The dragon really did have a great amount of situational awareness in that situation. You know, just like getting the chains off his wings and then knowing where these the one guy was and. Mm-hmm. But anyways,
But did you notice that the guy still died? The one who popped his chute, he still died.
Oh, I did not.
At least that was what I always thought. His thing seemed to flatline there, and you see him get clipped by the thing's tail.
Oh, interesting.
I'm not positive, but that's how I always interpreted it. I was going to mention it earlier, but
Now this whenever they go to like the computer screen here of like showing the radar and stuff, it really does make me think all of a sudden like, okay, we're playing like a Metal Gear Solid game now. All of a sudden, it reminds me of that for some reason.
Yeah,
like a briefing screen. I want to see like Snake pop up and tell me who I'm supposed to like go infiltrate.
I was just always wondering why it was that they had a little thing for being able to track Quinn. Like what's that about? Was it just like, oh, that moving thing? Let's just put a label on that.
And see here now, he's hunting humpback whales on the front of a ship, and the bird of prey is gonna uncloak above him right here. The harpoon gun he's got, it really looks like a whaling gun.
It does. I love the bent out of shape crosshair.
Yeah, quite right.
And
I mean, I definitely could see a man.
And hero shot, jump in, fire behind him. And Matthew McConaughey actually got lit on fire.
Well, didn't he? Well, I mean, when they have a fight here a little bit later, he full on headbutted Christian Bale, right? Like when they were filming it.
Several of their moves actually connected. Not just that one, but a couple of them. They just, I don't know if it was personal or they just didn't have the greatest like on set person or something, the stunt coordinator. But yeah, that was a little rough. They actually built a giant dead dragon. It's all practical.
This thing looks good.
It looks really good.
That nice. Yeah.
They wanted Jim Henson Creature Shop involved, but he had recently passed away. I remember reading about that.
I love that they have the electricity to turn on all those big searchlights on the outside and really just let everybody know where they are. Just throw a party, and they got like the rave searchlights. It's like a car dealership is opening now. You've got you got to head towards the lights. Is the helicopter just now getting back?
I think that it might have been doing some sort of protective sweep, maybe.
Maybe.
Now, I do like the additional detail of showing that they've set up a camp and it has like, you know, those white tents and everything over there, and yeah. This whole scene here does make me like really kind of hate the character. Like, he's such a drama queen here.
Oh yeah. But just like it's just funny to me. Like everybody's dancing. It's like all of a sudden it's just a party. It's just like oh, everybody's
Sounds like
excited.
a party.
But yeah, he's a total dick in this. Just where like no, we lost guys. And it's like they were doing.
You just kissed me.
You made a point about how these guys like don't last because these guys die all the time. That you're like, oh, but these guys died. It's like, didn't you just tell us earlier today that they die all the time?
Yeah.
Okay. What do you think that the line though? The pity the country that needs heroes.
Well, it was like, what did he say? Praise the country, like something about the loving the country that has heroes and pitying the country that needs them.
Yeah.
That was a sentiment that was pretty common around like end of World War II.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah.
But man, he's like, he's intense here though. Just that, like his eyes.
Yeah, he looks like he's crying all the time in this movie.
He's glassy eyed constantly.
Yeah.
But it is like, all right, so yeah, you lost 3 jumpers, but like you literally did what you wanted. Like you killed your dragon.
I swear that he was eating something throughout this movie that gives him extra saliva. He has the gooeyest mouth.
Well, and he put so much of that. He put so much of that cigar in his mouth. You notice that? He put that cigar in like
oral fixation.
Like 2/3 of that cigar is back in his mouth. Like, dude.
But it's just like you're constantly seeing spit between like his teeth in strands. I have never seen it in another movie like that before. And I'm like, is he just sitting back there eating Skittles? You know? Like drinking milk?
Oh, that's great. So is this like a grave? Yeah, this is like a graveyard here, but it's all like scrap metal. Is that what this is supposed to be? Are they burning the dragon?
I never noticed it.
Are they?
Do you think you could eat dragon?
I mean, I think if you're hungry enough, you probably could.
I'm just like
little gamey, you know.
You know what if it was a little toxic or something?
I mean, we eat snake. There's plenty of cultures that eat reptiles.
I've had snake. I've had alligator. It's actually pretty good. Dude, could you imagine how hot it would be standing so close to that, though?
Oh yeah.
Like
need a little sunscreen.
That'd burn you.
Yeah.
And for those of you who don't realize, standing next to a bonfire, when you're within like 20 feet of a huge bonfire, it will burn you. It hurts.
Oh yeah. I've been camping, and you realize that you're starting to melt your shoes because you let them be too close to the fire. I lead, you follow.
So dramatic. Like, he's like a Klingon. Okay.
Oh, I want to see Matthew McConaughey play Klingon. That'd be great.
You see, it has to do with my honor and the honor of my house.
I wonder if he like went out and like found the jumpers.
Yeah, maybe.
She's our memory. So she's like, she flies the chopper. So she like has a very dangerous job. But she's your memory. She's like the.
Well, she's really good at it, and she has the machine that can actually get you out of there.
That's true.
And you get this thing from the very beginning all the way through here that the way that he talks about it is that he knows he's gonna die, and he just
well, he almost wants to eventually. He's kind of looking forward to it in a way.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah, he's definitely like, I kind of hate his big the gun on his hip, like it's like a sawed-off shotgun or like a launcher of some kind.
Sawed-off shotgun.
Sawed-off shotgun. It's just, I don't know, just odd.
I mean, you don't like that he's got a shotgun just kind of hanging there?
Hanging on, like strapped to his thigh. I don't know. I feel like he should have had a shotgun, like Alien style, like on his back, with just like a big just a big old 45 on his thigh. Would have been more American, I feel like.
I can see that.
I'm trying to. Hicks.
That's a Mossberg 500 Cruiser. Sawed off. No stock.
Huh.
Yeah, I like
this is a good.
Performance
go ahead.
Here.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Well, I'm like, yeah, I see. And part of it's, I haven't seen this in a while. I meant to watch the whole thing before we recorded this, and I ended up having to split my time, and so I was like, I should educate myself about it more than just watch it again. But you still have, like, we're kind of alluding to this. You have elements in this film that are very good. The dragons themselves. You have two very capable leads here that really are chewing the scenery, who are really, giving it everything. I mean, obviously, we've been talking a lot about McConaughey, just so intense, so just into this. Christian Bale I don't think Christian Bale's ever phoned in a performance. He's just one of those actors
I don't think I've ever seen
yeah, he's just, he gives it. He lives and breathes to act. And you have a lot of things in this film that are better than what's written on the page, so to speak,
Yeah. I think of it similar to some reviews that I've seen of the recent 2025 Superman film, where the actors' performances are doing more for the characters than the script ever could.
Interesting way of putting it. I would agree with that too. I mean, nothing magical. See, this is not a fantasy movie.
Yeah. I love the idea of a liver.
I mean, so Gerard Butler, when was 300 made? It was like a couple years after
300
this?
was made in 2007, 5 years after this.
Okay, so it had been a little while. Because that was the movie that put Gerard Butler really on the map, right?
Yeah, very much so. He played the good friend in so many things before 300.
He did some rom-coms too, didn't he, back in the day?
Oh, yeah.
Like, P.S.
What
I Love You, and...
I remember from Timeline and Phantom of the Opera. Those were, like, the big ones. He did Phantom of the Opera, like, 2 years after this. Really good performance that. I remember he was Dracula in Dracula 2000, where he was, like, Judas Iscariot turned into a vampire, and that was the origin of Dracula.
There's that headbutt. Man, Christian Bale, he just rolls with it, too.
Yeah. He was in one of the Tomb Raider movies.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, he was in the second one, The Cradle of Life.
Yeah, because the first one was actually
Daniel Craig.
Face?
They had James
Daniel
Bond.
Craig. Yeah.
Man. McConaughey's just a beast here. Just like...
He is... Like, and they give him these weird, like, animal sounds.
Oh, yeah, he's like growling and... just this ferocity to him, and right here he's like feral, Yeah. Man, they do a good job on his tattoos, and the fact that, like, as dirty as he is, he's still covered in sweat. And I mean, respect. The guy is in shape. I mean, dude. Like, Christian Bale is a very fit guy. McConaughey is just like he's on a different level.
Yeah. And again, I didn't really pay much attention to Matthew McConaughey until like Interstellar. I was just like, that guy.
Yeah.
But
he's cool to listen to interview. If you ever listen to like interviews of him, like him just talking about his life and his career, and he's interesting. He's like a genuinely interesting guy to listen to just talk about stuff.
Nah, like my big experiences with him before Interstellar was this and Tropic Thunder and that one Sahara. That
Oh
was at
gosh,
Sahara.
it wanted to be a mummy
Yeah.
movie, or like a cross between Mummy and Indiana Jones. That was
Well,
Was it?
it was based off of a cause oh, what the heck is the guy's name? The $8 novel at a grocery store, fun action adventure things.
We're just talking about pulpy stuff. I'm not sure the actual like.
Clive Cussler. Clive Cussler.
Oh yeah.
It's actually the reason that they haven't made any more Clive Cussler movies, because after he saw Sahara, he said never again. Because Clive Cussler's fun. He always makes fun stuff.
Yeah. Man, it's a little. All right. It's like ouch.
Iodine.
Yeah. We're just like really kind of ruining it, kind of splashing it. So, like right here, Christian Bale looks like. Man, okay, see, he looked like he was in better shape there all of a sudden, just the way he was bent over and flexing. Like he's definitely been to a gym also.
Well, he was actually going to play the character as incredibly emaciated because he thought that that'd be more appropriate. And then he saw that Matthew McConaughey was bulking up for the role. And so he and Gerard Butler were like, we should put on a little bit of muscle.
Yeah, we don't want to look that just like. Well, I mean there's definitely a competition between actors. I know that famously Paul Rudd has talked about multiple times. Even though Ant-Man is never known for being like super fit, he's like, dude, you can't be on set with these guys and not be like, all right, I got to go to the gym.
Yeah, I mean, that was one of the things that Chris
gosh.
Pratt talked about, that because James Gunn liked Chris Pratt so much for the role of Star-Lord that he was like, you don't need to lose all the weight and do all the muscle, because a little bit chunkier might even be kind of funny. And the dude was like, hell no, I'm not staying next to Chris Evans and all them looking like they do and
Yeah.
being all chunky. And he bulked up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was nuts.
Oh yeah, but I can imagine just the the pressure, the peer pressure of that.
Yeah.
It's interesting here that he like kind of cleaned himself up, but then here he's standing there and he's still got like blood down in his mustache and stuff.
Yeah,
What
I
is
don't
this,
know
like,
what the deal is
A
there.
helicopter going into like hover mode just to give him the little little head nod. Like, all right, I see you.
Okay, do you think that was a miniature, or is that like CG'd in?
I think it's comped.
Like
I think it's probably just a comp shot.
Yeah, it's good comp.
It is. It's interesting too because helicopters, you can really make a helicopter look like it's going very fast, or you can also make a helicopter look like it's going very slow, depending on how you shoot it.
Mhm.
And they do. I mean, like the helicopter work in this movie is actually pretty good. The way they shoot it.
So coming up here is a scene that really bothers me, because for all their weird tactics, idiot tactics, however you wanna look at it, their tactical choices here are absolute crap. Like,
Yeah, you have to have people who have demonstrated competency all of a sudden become a little bit incompetent for the sake of the plot, and like that thing.
they roll in lights out and up, single file up a road straight towards the guy's lair. Okay, and they literally get taken out. It's an incredible scene, mind you, like fantastic scene. Of the dragon attacking the convoy, but like if they had any brains or sense whatsoever, the convoy never would have been in that position.
No, to be in a situation where a dragon can make one pass and hit every vehicle.
Yeah.
At the very
Absolutely.
least, you would spread out and you would have a bunch of space in between them. I mean, if you had to be on the road, like if you were in a situation where you're like,
Kermit the Frog there.
no, sorry, I was got a little, I was burping. I'm sorry, but
You're becoming a man.
but you know what I mean. Like even if you had to be
Yeah.
on a road, you wouldn't bunch up. You would have 100 feet between each vehicle.
Yeah. Minimum, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But also you would scout routes forward very, very carefully. You would figure out a way to get your armor in before you put yourself in a position where you're just like, oh, I'm stuck.
So this dragon's still just like
this-
this dragon corpse is just still just. I mean, I guess you wouldn't be able to do anything with it. You just leave it here. So they weren't burning the dragon; they were burning like, I guess their They're archangels
dead.
or whatever. Yeah.
Gotta burn her dead.
Oh, that's
honestly,
right. I
that's
forgot
what
about this. He
I'm
grabs
saying,
like he finds. This is where he finds the egg, right?
Yeah, and this would confirm that these dragons are a little bit more mammalian, or possibly even marsupial, uh, than um, than others, than reptilian, because it has the fetus in it, which means it's been fertilized, which means that they're fertilized, um, instead of like fish, where they just like, you know, spray the over the eggs.
Yeah.
That there would be something more individual about it, but they're also fertilized while also still being attached to the mother, which is
Yeah.
odd.
Yeah. Is there another example?
That's my weird rant about eggs.
Let's say.
Thank you.
Is there an animal we know of in nature that's how it works?
I mean, like
I'm not.
turtles.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, it's. I mean,
Yeah,
I guess
they're just like
yeah,
bunching
just-
up in the road. Like they wouldn't have scouted this.
Yeah, but I mean, I think it's because again they just wanted this scene where you had the tension of like, all right, something's about to happen, and
Dun,
you know
dun.
you're sitting here in all the wreckage, right?
Yeah. And again, the scene here with the dragon is like the best scene in the movie.
Yeah, because they've got the helicopter, they can easily. I mean, he's asking her a good question, like you're in a position to know, like is there a way through? But you would know before you were sitting here stuck.
Yeah.
Like he's now in a position where he can't maneuver, where he's just sitting in a bottleneck, and he doesn't know. He doesn't know ahead of time. Also, too, the idea that he didn't have this thing loaded already, that's like a trope that is because people love the shot of a weapon being loaded. So,
Mhm.
but whenever they show that, there's always a little bit of the wait, it wasn't loaded. You meaning up until this
Right.
moment you were helpless?
Yeah.
Man, a shotgun would be one of the most. I mean, unless you had slugs in a shotgun, it would be like buckshot would be pretty useless against dragons. Slugs wouldn't be too bad. Though.
Shotguns. Slugs wouldn't be too bad, but you had to get kind of close.
You would.
Slugs.
And you wouldn't want a short barrel. You'd want a big long barrel. You'd want a big hunting, like a full 22-inch barrel, designed for hunting birds, but putting slugs in it. Like that's what you would want.
Yeah. I like the whooshing.
And even here, immediately, wouldn't you have everybody like spread out? You've got all this cover already. You got all this wreckage, right? You got all this stuff to hide on, but like no, let's stay bunched up right on the road, like spread out.
Exactly. Like, rah. But like, it's just like screaming, launching buckshot. I like the sparks. This little Max Payne jump.
I do appreciate that that there's like the force of the wings, like actually do push, like it does show that there is an actual.
The scene. This is the scene. Just
that's a good scene.
It's so good.
Well, they get the fire. Yeah, they get the fire out because obviously those flames are all practical, but the way it interacts with the CG is so good. It looks seamless. It looked perfect.
Yeah. The amount of practicality that was put into this movie is fantastic. What is he wearing?
It's an odd shirt.
I can't.
Jason Pollock shirt.
I've noticed since I was a kid, and I'm like, why does he look like he's wearing smoke? There's all kinds of weird stuff like around his little station there, like he has like a sequined chair, little flamboyant.
Man, everything would be so hot. He's like sitting there, just like chilling.
He's used to it. He feels the burn all the time. He's around the fire. He's got crabs. He's used to the burn.
He's too angry to get burned.
Yeah.
So like everybody else is dead apparently. You know, the dragon actually saved his life by kind of blowing him back and under his own tank.
Yeah. How fortuitous. I mean, I think there's like one other person. I remember him like grabbing somebody. Toasty.
They're dead. They're all dead.
Ashes. Wait, what's that from? The little quote there.
Yeah, no, oh my gosh, I had it.
Brian.
Oh, I'm sorry. I know.
It.
I know. Now it's gonna bug me until I. You mean they're dead? They're all dead.
Yeah. See, there's a dude.
Yeah, there's
random
one
guy. Like, I love this. Just like the dragon just kind of sneaking up on it, and Bashir's about to be barbecued.
Yeah, poor
I
Bashir.
know. Like, I love that scene too. It doesn't translate super well. Like the quality isn't as good in terms of resolution, so you can see it look a little bit more CG-ish. But I remember it looking like almost photorealistic back on just like DVD.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Um,
So it was Mission Impossible, by the way. They're dead. They're all dead. From the very first Mission Impossible. That's what it is.
right. Yes. Thank you.
Claire, they're
I'm
dead.
like,
Yeah, when he's like yelling at Claire after his team gets killed at the beginning of the movie.
that first Mission Impossible is weird. When you watch it today, you used to like the action movies that we have in terms of Mission Impossible. That first one really is an outlier. Dude,
It
I
is.
love the sparks in this scene.
Yeah. Well, it's and again,
So good.
Yeah. Just hits this. Oh. And again,
Music's pretty good,
The
too.
music. I was just about to say, I like the music. I feel like there's it's. In some ways, I find it kind of generic, but very effective.
Yeah. It doesn't have like a main theme. This feels like a movie that should have like this main theme that kicks in and you're like, whoa. But it never quite reaches that level. And because the composer for the movie was a guy named Edward Shearer. And he did stuff like Charlie's Angels and Miss Congeniality and Sky Captain and the World of Tomorrow. Like, just not huge things. Like, lots of steady work, lots of credits to his names. Movies that people might recognize from way back when, you know, like, oh, I remember seeing previews for Bride Wars. I remember seeing previews for K-Pax. But, you know, nothing really that incredible.
Yeah. I mean, but
Not to crap on his work, but
yeah.
this feels like a movie that should have a big theme, you know?
Yeah, it definitely could. It's interesting too, the idea that, so is it implied that this dragon was like intelligent enough that it knew where the convoy came from and like went back and attacked this castle like as retaliation?
Yes. Yep. And they had set it up earlier in the movie where Christian Bale talked about how another camp had gone to go try and reclaim London from the dragons, and it had tracked them back to their home and it had destroyed it. Like, Christian Bale knew about this mail.
Yeah. Well,
The
he was,
bull, as they call it.
because he's the kid from the beginning.
Yeah.
And that was the male. Obviously, he woke up, right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
so there's, even though there's no magic, there is a little bit of probably feels a level of connection here. Right? Oh man,
Yeah.
just
Dead
just
best
straight
friend
down.
moment.
Oh,
Great detail. Okay. Great detail in this part. He's like, he burns his hands on the door.
yeah. Oh yeah, that door would be freaking hot.
Yeah. That's not something that a lesser director would really, or maybe even
that'd
it
be
was the
over-
actor. I don't know.
That'd be overlooked. I wouldn't put it past Christian Bale to be thinking about that because he's a detail guy. You know, he thinks about all that stuff in interviews. He talks about it all the time. But yeah, I do like that.
Yeah.
The idea too that like they had this. I do love that they had this ready to go. Like they built this. You can tell that they built this. This safety area, the bottom of this castle, exactly for this situation. Like to know, like, all right, we're down here. We're water reserves. Obviously, they're just going to keep and just. I love it. I do like that part of these people were ready for this. They understood this could happen.
Yeah. And like that his whole thing was he wanted people to dig for exactly this. He wanted there to be enough room for them to go underground and be safe from a dragon attack, and people were slacking off. And also it has that parallel because his mother was a tunneler.
Yeah.
And so he's a tunneler and he's going to survive because he's a tunnel rat.
Yep. Well, it's like I'd almost call it a trope, but it works well. Like the burden, like the character who's like cursed with knowledge or like has the burden of knowledge. I forget what the exact phrase is, but it's definitely a type of character trait, but it works. That one character is like, I know, and I know because experience has taught me something that not until these people have had that experience will they know it at the same level that I know it. And it kind of maintains a little bit of separation between them and the other people in the story.
Yeah.
And this movie does that without overdoing it. He's not walking around like, with this like heavy, he doesn't overdo it. Like he knows, but he's not, he doesn't overplay it.
Yeah. He's not mopey about it. Like,
No.
Only I know. Only I have seen. You don't understand. They have that one moment when he's like yelling. And he's just like, you have no idea what you're getting into. And they were right,
Yeah.
Matthew
McConaughey got humbled a little bit here.
He's eating his humble pie. And he's got his like scrappy, humble tears.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm saying.
And I mean, as somebody who is a very proud American, there's something that's like very, it is not a bad thing to have a moment where it's like, dude, you thought you could just roll in here and take this dude on. You were wrong. Like your bravado got a lot of people killed. And as much as I love the country I'm from, there's definitely a part of that in our in our culture that can get us into trouble at times.
Wait, are you saying that the Americans are arrogant people?
Nah, we're so humble. Hey, it's Joffrey.
Yeah, there's Joffrey. Which Joffrey, Jack Gleason is the character's name. Is the actor's name. Also appeared in Batman Begins with Christian Bale.
Yeah.
And
crossbows with explosive heads. See, if they had just met Rambo, they'd be fine because he's got his.
We're going to London, and we're gonna kill the dragon.
He's got his explosive tipped arrow. He's good to go.
I'm trying to think.
I feel like his
Rambo lines.
There aren't any. That's the problem.
I know the ones that are the most memorable in terms of the character of Rambo are the ones from First Blood, where it's just like they started it, but that are like the heartbreaking lines.
Oh yeah. Oh, and it's like that's. Sorry, we like totally got. Rambo: First Blood is genuinely a good movie. It's
a masterpiece.
Yeah, it's very. I mean, and it's like the weird outlier compared to where that series went. And I like Rambo as much as the next guy, but that first movie is like actually like this fantastic. I mean, talk about a movie about PTSD and all kinds of stuff. It's actually good at it, but then it went in a slightly different direction. I feel like Christian Bale's accent got thicker all of a sudden there too in that scene right there. So we've learned now. Forget the land vehicles. You got a helicopter. Just fly in around the back.
Mm-hmm. Right? They couldn't have there weren't that many guys, right? Were they relying on the armor to kill this thing? Because if they could sneak in a clandestine team or several different clandestine teams, heavily armed, 50 calibers, a harpoon gun, those explosive arrowheads, and waited until it's sleeping or something,
I'm only going. Okay, is this all built?
I'm
or is this
definitely not salty.
Oh no, that's fine. No, you're not. That's Pat. Sorry. You have to have the iconic. London is in ruins shot, right? You gotta have at least one shot with Big Ben.
Yeah, let's destroy London, please.
I'm waiting for the Reapers to come down now.
Oh, I was expecting that thing to fall from the skies that destroyed it in G.I. Joe.
Oh, that's right. Oh gosh. 100-3.
We're outnumbered 100-3.
It's a good line. I know from the bottom up.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be definitely advantageous to oh man, that's a big dragon.
Big dragon.
To be in a city that's got an underground system. It's like having a city like
Yeah.
New York or London or Paris has got, the all the catacombs
Moscow.
underneath it. Yeah, Moscow. Any of the old cities that have, yeah. You
Metro
wouldn't
2077.
you wouldn't want to be in a city that's got like no was he just like eating another dragon there just for fun? Oh yeah, he just says it right there. Yeah. Must be starving.
You're going hungry.
It's because you've killed all the people.
Yeah.
That was
That-
one thing though
well,
too that Go ahead.
It specifies that they want to eat ash, which is one of the things I've never understood.
now it's kind of
I'm
a
like,
weird thing.
okay, that's an interesting creative choice, but you do you, boo.
Well, it's one of the other videos I was watching was talking about, again, I mean, this is not a valid critique in terms of like, it's not that kind of movie. A species like this is just, it kind of doesn't make any sense in nature.
The
'Cause
nutritional needs.
it's a species that's so hyper violent, that's so hyper destructive, that just immediately destroys the entire environment that it's in at the speed that it does, to then go back into hibernation or something. It's one of those that like it's a weird to like understand it from like a biological or natural point of view, like how a creature like this would work, and then like the length of time that it's in hibernation when it's not like frozen. Like doesn't make sense. Like that's not how metabolism works and hibernation works. But again, it's not that kind of movie, Jim. Or, no. I was thinking, what's the line? That's Harrison Ford said that like in an interview, right? He was telling like a co-star like, it's not that kind of movie, kid. I think he was talking about.
I think that was for Star Wars.
Yeah, he was talking about Mark Hamill. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Then I had a thought based on what you were saying, and now it's gone.
Sorry. The idea that he like,
yeah.
so he's like, you got a flare gun here. And you like,
Mhm.
just- I mean, it is, I guess, a cool way to do it, where you're shooting them out versus just like chucking flares or something. You can just throw them.
Yeah.
They're not going that far.
Well, I mean, they have those little launchers, and
They do. Oh yeah. They got the explosive heads. See.
I was gonna say, like, they have these things are almost like a weird combination of like locust and bears. It's the thing that I can think of,
Locusts
Like-
and bears. Yeah, nice.
like with the hibernation, but also the swarming and the way that they eat and stuff like that, and kind of being like the apex predator. I don't know, like, there's so much I want to do with it. There's so much I'd be like, but how would they work?
So I
Magnesium chips, C4 arrows.
So I like the idea that, I mean, if you're actually kind of counting on not only the explosive but actually using the dragon's own, like kind of using their own naturally produced chemicals against it to get it just right.
Mhm.
Now, is
Yeah.
this supposed to be the same tunnel that he was going up at the very beginning? You think? You think this is supposed to be like our
I don't know, is
return
it?
to? It looks like it, right?
Well, what's he doing in this
He-
scene?
Oh yeah. Sorry, it's been a minute since I've seen this. Okay, never
He's
mind.
reliving his own Putista.
It's obviously the same place. I'm sorry, Zach. Oh, that's actually a good line. Use it.
Yeah. Somehow Matthew McConaughey knows that that's where his mom was dead, though. Like,
Well, Christian Bale staring at a corpse and really getting emotional about it.
right. What do you think about this finale?
I think that, I mean, you had to have. Matthew McConaughey just wanted to die. I actually don't.
I
mind
think that it was
most of
necessary for his character to die.
It was. I think if because there's no way that he was like, oh, this is actually like I'm actually going to take down or maybe he was. Maybe he's just so driven mad, that he's like, I can Because how far does he jump?
Like 15 feet.
It's a yeah. When realistically you get like 2 or 3 feet out and then you just drop like a rock.
Yeah.
Especially when you're holding
Well,
the
I think-
bags.
Yeah, I think that there's a combination of delusion and madness
Yeah.
and desperation that he has, but also thematically, given how much he screwed up, he needed to die.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. It's one of those where you can't filter his actions through any kind of rational. I think it's just he's at this point he is obviously a tremendously scarred and messed up person who's already made bad choices and being shown to be super driven without. I mean, he's not an unintelligent man, but he's just been so
But he's
damaged. Yeah, but he's so damaged, man. Yeah, like his eyes look almost like hazy there. It's interesting how much fire is still going on. You wonder, like in London with all the dragons, would there be anything left that could burn?
Yeah. Yeah. Unless it's just their drippings.
No, you just burning their own poop.
Huh, you do have to wonder, does dragon poop burn? Oh, I love this scene now. Because it's the flask. Do you remember this?
I don't, honestly. Okay.
So he's been drinking from this flask the whole movie. He's in the time. Okay.
Yeah.
So his flask hands it over. You don't remember this scene?
I don't. I'm like caught up in this though. This isn't. This
Right
is.
here. Right here.
It's water. It's just water.
He's shocked because the flask is just full of water. He's been sipping at this thing the whole movie, and now they're like, "Oh, it's just water."
It's just water. I mean, he says it's from Kentucky. It should be whiskey. It should be bourbon.
Mm-hmm. He doesn't have a sill.
Oh gosh, man. Yeah, I'm
Like-
I mean I think that the finale does what a good finale should do. As much as you want a finale to do a lot of things right. You want it to make sense and have good pay. I mean, but it gets the intensity right of just like this is it. You've got the big dragon. You've got you kind of he didn't give like a rousing speech, but like his direction was almost that way, right? Of just like the intense moment of like, all right, you do this and you do this and just all right, we've got a plan. It's desperate. It's last minute. We're hoping this will work. I mean, it does everything a good finale should do. Oh man.
Yeah, that was a good smack, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Tail hitting the ground.
That's some real energy to it. Oh yeah. This would be so scary. I mean, like this is one of those where just your adrenaline would just be going at a level that most of us have not experienced, or if we have, it's been like once.
It's like this is cat and mouse in a way that like you're all mice, but it's not just a cat; it's a bobcat.
Yeah.
With wings.
You dropped it, dude.
Yeah.
There you go. It's out there. And this is one of those realistic because he just had it in the pocket. This is one of those like ways to add some tension that I don't mind because it's not. It's not a crazy thing, It's just that could totally happen.
Yeah. Totally good.
I like, and that's actually where the whole in the teeth thing. He lost his shirt.
It's so badass.
Oh yeah,
but
it also
that this
makes
is
sense.
him making a final stand.
It is, but also too like your mouth is a third hand when you need it to be, and there's a reason why we put things that are like we need quick access to it. We just want it right there because it's I don't know. I like this. I like this whole thing.
Yeah, and again, I think that this is another one of those examples where it's the actors' performances that are doing just as much as as the direction, the set design, music.
The comp here,
like
okay, right there behind him, the comp was not great. But no,
him up on top of that thing is not good. But also comping onto gray is really difficult.
Oh.
It's like it was almost the perfect shot if he hadn't sprayed just then. Also, one of the things I like here is that it does show that he's damaged from it.
Yeah.
But like, okay, running start with this level leap, given an arc, it's not as unrealistic as you would think. because he would go out and down. So her looking up at it, when I was first watching this, I thought she was going to die here at this scene with her looking up. It had a very much like, I'm dying now.
Yep.
And I'm going to get crushed.
Yeah, no, I mean it's as what that's where like, the smoke around the dragon and kind of it was a good way for him to go out. The effects had they were kind of a mixture of being good and a little rough there, but I generally still like this. I think it's satisfying. They're keeping the intensity up. This is paced well because we're giving it. They are getting the downbeats of like giving them a chance to like, all right, let's collect for a second. Let's make eye contact, and then all right, we got danger again. Like there's a good graph of energy happening over this last like 10 minutes.
Yeah, and like he's shooting it right in the face, and it is flinching.
Yeah,
but if you look at it, it's also kind of two-faced right now. Its left side, so right, watching it, is all burnt up and crisp and charred, and which is why he shot it at once and it didn't have anything. He shot it at another time, and you actually see the impact on the left side of its face, and it twitches backwards because it got hit where it's already sensitive because it had been blown away by the C4.
Yep. And
I'm just like, that's such good detail.
Yeah.
I love that so much, and it was rare to find that kind of thing at this time at filmmaking.
Yeah. To the best of your knowledge, has Corridor Crew ever done an episode about this movie?
I don't know, actually.
They really
I'll
should.
have to look that up. Yeah.
But here, like, as much as I know this is not a dragon, that this movement, this stance is menacing, is very effective.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no, this is like the quintessential dragon moment. And I genuinely believe that this entire fight scene is the reason why Game of Thrones made the design choices that it did.
Die.
Because it's menacing and it's perfect. And look at this.
This is good. It dripping out of his mouth and just this is a good sequence. And they have already given reason why he'd be standing. Like, he's not firing. And it's not like, oh, why aren't you firing, stupid? It's like, no, he has to get that perfect shot. Yeah, he has one shot.
And whoop.
Oh,
I love the explosion out the neck.
Yeah.
It, like, goes out the side and virtually decapitates the thing.
Yeah.
Everything about this explosion and this thing's death is so good.
Yeah, just like the slow head over, just the wings all torched out. It's good.
Yeah, the wings are tattered and things like that and torched. Now, this I don't like. That it just her line here is so stupid. Do you remember this part?
I honestly
or did you see it on any of the reviews?
No, I remember all the all the fighting, and I do not remember this all. Mm-hmm. He always thought you could do it. Wait, what?
What does that even mean?
What is that like? What, Matthew McConaughey had a private moment with her a couple hours? This has been 2 days have gone by.
Yeah, 3 days max, and they're just
that doesn't make any sense. That's a dumb line.
Like, they had a private conversation. He's like, that guy. He's great.
That random guy that I
really
just
help us out.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
Like, that Quinn guy, he's our magic savior. He was there at the beginning. He'll be there at the end because he has magic dragon vision from getting its goop in his eyes. And it had such chosen one energy that wasn't present earlier.
Yeah. I mean, I'm glad they didn't overdo it as far as it didn't overstay its welcome. It wasn't a whole big conversation. It was just a quick one line. But yeah, it's a stupid line. It doesn't make any sense. And Matthew McConaughey's
it feels like a line left over from deleted scenes.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, the Matthew McConaughey's character that we saw in this movie would not have said that.
Yeah, that's the line from a movie where Van Zant and Quinn were old colleagues who had a falling out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting here too, the whole I'm not, I do like the idea of getting the antenna back up, starting to, although how quickly again would just, I guess the females would just start eating each other. and dying
Yeah.
off pretty fast because and we wouldn't have any more because nobody's around to fertilize them.
That's correct. And we don't know their like lifespan. It could be fairly short. There could also be like scattering when they don't have an alpha around.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
I do like where they leave these characters, that there's a little bit of like, I mean, they're holding hands there, but like in that way of like, he's got his axe. That they don't overindulge it. They just like, and see, as much as you're like, all right, you mentioned this earlier, we're so used to it now. You build a franchise, you're establishing a bigger world. Part of me misses just the one-off film. The idea that you don't need to be building something bigger, and if you're gonna make a sequel, you come up with some way to make a sequel. But
and you easily could with this ending.
oh yeah, you absolutely could. But you don't. I almost feel like with rare exception, it's not beneficial to the film that you're making right then if you're already thinking about what you're going to do next.
Ugh, it's trying to get me to play Uncharted next. No.
This is very like,
fan film,
even though this is
bad one.
early 2000s, this feels like a 90s credit music, like, just some like rock pop song that nobody's ever heard of playing over the credits.
Right? Doesn't it? I remember watching with my wife just the other day, and it was that same type of thing. I'm like, oh, that feels like Armageddon,
Yeah.
Like 5 years out of date.
Well, I'm watching the subtitles of the song, it's all about fire. It's just they just went to some generic band and like, hey, can you write us a song about fire for the credits? All right, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, but I think that because almost every time, even in the MCU films that we enjoy, a lot of times, the parts that we criticize are where like, yeah, they were thinking about the sequel or the greater world, and they had to put this in. And it's like, generally speaking, it's like, write a good movie, and then sit down, and then let the sequel naturally come out of what you already did. Like, come up with a natural continuation. And and I'm a sucker for good serialized television, but that's where you've literally got the whole thing planned out a lot of times versus.
You should, J.J.
Oh.
Abrams.
yes, you should. But I think that as a general rule, there are exceptions, but as a general rule, it's better to just focus on making a movie for itself. And I miss that, where you just, that era of filmmaking, the 80s and the 90s were big, at this of just like, no, just make a movie. I got a random idea.
Yeah.
We still have movie stars. Let's just go do something cool. And I mean, there were, for all of the classic, when I say classics, I mean, they're classics to certain people. For all of the movies we remember as being awesome, there are 3 that are horrible that we've all forgotten about. So I mean, I'm willing to acknowledge that. But this is one of those films that, again, I think it'd be hard. I think this movie, and again, not that this movie is a masterpiece, and this movie was not even that successful, but if you'd made this movie now, it would cost twice as much, and whoever made it would be tasked with like making sure they set up a franchise to maximize, the potential money it could make, and it would bring in all these things that could potentially ruin it. And if you're gonna ruin a movie, I feel like it should be bad on its own 2 feet, not because of other things. It should be, either you have. We talked about this with Pacific Rim. If you. And it's so hard because if you want to make a movie look good and be good, you got to spend the money. But when you have a situation where you've got to have a movie make insane profit to be considered worth anything, but you're not allowed to lean on existing IPs, that's a real challenge.
Yeah, that's a big risk.
Yeah, and I think that's where you used to. And between 2 things, between home video stuff, being able to, recoup a lot of the costs, and when you could advertise something based on a movie star, we've been out of that for a long, long time now. But it used to be like, well, I've got Bruce Willis, or I've got Stallone or Schwarzenegger in this, and so I can market this. Or if you're a comedy, like, it's Jim Carrey. What's the movie about? It's Jim Carrey. It's just like that's all you need, and it's let them try things, And a lot of it sucked, and yeah, I'm not trying to deny that. But
Yeah.
I think there's some validity. I wish we had a mixture. You know what it is? I wish it wasn't an all or nothing thing. That we could create some perfect combination of a world where you could have your big franchises, your big IPs, your big shared universes, while also being able to do one-off stuff when your name's not Chris Nolan.
Right?
Because that's pretty much the only exception, right? Right these days, unless you're Chris
At the
Nolan,
moment, yeah.
you don't get to do one-offs. You gotta find an old TV show people are nostalgic about and slap that on the title,
Yep.
or
This
just make it for streaming. That's the big exception, right? If you go into like Netflix original stuff or Apple TV original stuff or Prime Video stuff, that's the one place that you're allowed to go try something weird. But even those have crazy budgets. If you get into them, usually it's like, how did Netflix say like, yeah, you can spend $150 million? Sure. Like, okay.
Or $300 million on the Electric State.
Oh my gosh. Well, how much did the Rebel Moon movies cost that Snyder made?
Oh man, I don't even know.
I mean, those things had to be
question.
a couple $100 million, right? Between the two of them?
Yeah, had to be.
Yeah. Anyways, like the mid-budget one-offs, I miss them. Even though, again, I've said this like 8 times. I'm sorry, I keep repeating myself. Even though a lot of them were very mediocre, I miss going to the theaters to see a random movie where it's like, hey, I heard this was pretty good, and I like Bruce Willis. Let's check it out. Like, I kind of miss that, and I'm being nostalgic. I'm aware, but I kind of miss that versus like, oh, it's just another take on, Superman, or this is set in the universe that I kind of like, or this is based on a TV. Like, I'm just kind of all right. Like, this is a weird thing to bring into this genre of podcast, but I saw F1 this summer, and I'm a guy. I like machines. I like fast moving machines, and in my mind I was like, hey, Brad Pitt is somebody who I enjoy. And Joseph Kavinsky, or I forget his last name, but he directed Top Gun Maverick, and he's also done he did Oblivion. He's done a few other like movies that I think are pretty good.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was one of those movies like, all right, it's a racing movie, but like I like Brad Pitt. This director has shown that he's a competent director. I'm gonna go check it out, and I really enjoyed it. Was it like some masterpiece? No, but it was just an entertaining 2 hours I spent watching personal drama and cars going fast, and I miss more of that versus every other movie I've seen in the theaters this year has been part of a franchise. Every single one of them.
That's interesting because like there are movies out there that are doing what you describe. It's just they're more rare.
Yeah.
Like you brought up Brad Pitt, which immediately made me think of the movie Bullet Train. Did you watch Bullet Train?
I saw that in theaters. I really enjoyed it. It was actually a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's that kind of thing. So, like,
you're right. They do exist.
Stuff like Bullet Train, they are around.
Yeah,
but they're not around nearly as much as they should be.
We used to get 10 of those a summer. And you would pick out the 2 or 3 that were good, and you would enjoy them and move on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do personally believe that we should enter into a new era where there is the experimental, the one-off, this is a new thing that we've never seen. It's not meant to be a franchise. I also really want to enter into an era where we look at movies that had really interesting premises, that were good, that just didn't take off, that weren't done very well, that weren't appreciated, or were actually just bad movies and wasted a premise. You could even point to this, Reign of Fire.
Yeah.
As a missed opportunity, despite it being incredibly influential in the visual effects department, CG creature design, dragon design going forward in film and TV.
Yeah.
But I would love to see a competent remake of this movie because the premise deserves it.
Yeah. Well,
and so I do kind of want to see that mindset be entered into for film and television of looking at what was not well done, but deserves to be well done.
Yeah. So I just laughed here. For anybody wondering, we were watching this on Amazon Prime Rental, and the little one sentence synopsis says an American militia leader and a London fire chief joined forces. It's like, Was he
London Fire
He
Chief.
was a London fire chief. It also has
Who
the
wrote
runtime
that?
wrong. It says it's an hour and 37 minutes. It's not. So it's interesting
No,
the contrast here too on Amazon. Like the IMDb rating is 6.2 on this, but the Amazon Amazon star rating is 4.6 out of 5. So people that have been watching this
Yeah.
like on Amazon recently have liked it.
This is a cult favorite.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm one of those people. I'm
Yeah.
one of those cultists.
Do you,
All
you
hail
don't
the
own-
dragon.
Well, you don't own a lot of physical movies. I was about to say you don't own this on physical
That's
media,
correct.
do you? Yeah. Yeah,
Not
you
anymore.
have-
No, I
you have,
used
like,
to own
30
it on
movies.
DVD. If that, yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. But
Oh wait, no, I do have the entire MCU up to Endgame, so that's 23 movies. So you're right,
Yeah.
probably about 35 movies.
yeah, because other than that, it's like Harry Potter, some of the DC stuff. That's about it, right? A few other one-offs.
I have a selection of like my personal favorites. So I have stuff like Skyfall, Tombstone,
Yeah,
Hunt for Red October, Alien, things like that.
yeah, some of the key ones. Anyways, no, this was a lot of fun. This is a movie that I think, but there's if you do enough right. This is a movie to me that's a great example of if you do enough right in a film, the effects are good. You cast good leads, and you do enough right. You can make a movie that is better than the sum of its parts. Because of those parts being really, this movie. You said this multiple times. Some version of this is not great as a script, but the actors were there, the effects were there, the world building was there, and so you can enjoy it. And not. I think that's the other thing. Okay, really, at the risk of this going too long. When you have a big established franchise, like I'm gonna pick on the big one here, Star Wars, where you start introducing things that don't align with it's been established that the Force works this way or that hyperdrives work this way, or pick whatever you want. When you have a big franchise that's been running for a while and you have it's been around for decades and decades, it becomes harder depending on the fan and when they got into it and the age they are and all the factors to whenever you want to try something new, like, well, you because of this and this and this, and you piss people like me off. And I admit that I'm a grouchy old man about this stuff, but still, versus when you do
you are.
I am 100%. But when you do a one-off, as much as I was complaining about, this tactic or but who cares? Because this isn't some long-running established thing where we've set all this up. You can kind of just be like, all right, whatever, and just enjoy the fire and enjoy them headbutting each other in the ash and enjoy his cigar. I mean, you can enjoy it and shrug off the mistakes a lot more easy in a one-off versus a long-running franchise. To me, at least the way that I'm built. To me, it's much easier to dismiss and enjoy the movie with all these issues than if this was movie 8 of a big franchise where I would be like, oh, see, this is really like, I'm having trouble with this, man. You know what I mean? At least for my personality. Yeah. Does it make sense?
No, and I actually do very much agree on that. And I think that, again, my fixation is on... I love post-apocalyptic things. I love dragon things. A post-apocalyptic dragon thing sounds great. I want there to be a different post-apocalyptic dragon thing that gets well appreciated and everybody can enjoy and we get to see more of it. So I would like there to be more of this in the form of a remake.
When you could totally do a spiritual successor, and you could even get Christian Bale back if you wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's still you're working a lot.
Yeah.
No, yeah. I would if they announced they were doing something like that to this, I'd be there. I'd totally be there, and I'd love to see it in theaters because I never saw this in theaters. So,
because I don't want everything to be a franchise, but there are certain things that I believe could do with more really well, and this is kind of my go-to for that. I think that this is an example of a movie, of a plot that deserves more than just this one little random movie circa 2002.
Yeah. No, I'm there for it, man.
Mm.
I mean, I'm not as nostalgic about this film as you are, but I still liked it. You know, I enjoy it for what it was very much, and yeah, I do think it's odd that this premise has never been tried again, because this premise does seem almost too easy. I feel like, yeah, dragons, post-apocalyptic. You know, you got like, you know, bands of dudes fighting dragons and trying to survive, and I mean, people love that. I mean, it is almost odd that nobody's tried this basic premise again, because as an elevator pitch, that almost seems too easy. Especially with how far effects have come, and you know, the public has the public has a much broader acceptance for this kind of stuff now than they did back then. And they, you know, back then you had plenty of examples of fantasy doing well. I mean, this was in the middle of Lord of the Rings, you know, on its crazy run. Granted, you got the most recognizable fantasy books ever written, but still, if anything, the public has gotten more used to and more into this kind of stuff now. And as an elevator pitch, this movie seems like it would be a no-brainer. So, yeah.
Yeah. It's just like, so give me your pitch. All right. 2 words. Post-apocalyptic, or 3 words. Post-apocalyptic dragon slayers. All right, here's $200 million.
Yeah. And I think, yeah, if
I want more, Brian. I want more.
Yeah. Well, you can get that greenlit if you have Nolan directed.
Or Villeneuve.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. Or just
Dude.
you know, instead of what, the House of the Dragon, the prequel, you just do this as an HBO series instead.
Dude, could you imagine if you just be like, if you somehow got influence over Christopher Nolan, and you're just like, okay, I'm blackmailing you, and you need to make a movie that I say that you're gonna make. That's completely just like announcing Christopher Nolan doing a remake of Norbit or something.
Well, and not even that I want like his version of it. I just want like his name on attached to it, so people will go to see it and it'll get made. You know,
right?
Oh,
But
goodness.
also, I love the idea of like, okay, Christopher Nolan, you have to direct a movie
Oh
about
gosh.
dragons. And he's like, I want practical effects. And I'm like, all right,
I gotta
we're gonna
shoot.
clone a dragon.
I have to shoot all the dragons in IMAX. They're digital.
I have to shoot all of the dragons practically.
Oh goodness. Just imagine
Yeah.
like, well, I mean, we'll get to the point where you can, you know, fly drones tightly enough packed to do motion capture with drones. To have the drones be like motion capture, and then you just put like a CG paint over, you know, like, so that way the actors, you can shoot it on set, right? And the actors can all respond to a like shape that's like perfect, and you know, like all to scale and everything. I literally just imagined this in my mind. I'm like, that could totally be a thing at some point.
Oh yeah, well, trust me, the city of New York still isn't responding to my emails, but I'm telling you, 2033 rolls around, and we are doing the 100-year anniversary of the release of King Kong. Let's get let's get a drone light show up there and reenact King Kong versus the
biplanes?
things versus the biplanes in drones.
That'd be awesome.
Wouldn't it?
Yeah, that'd be fun. But
I have a feeling there'd be some problems with it.
But this was a lot of
Airspace
fun.
and stuff.
The tease I would like to leave for the next film we're doing is a movie that, despite there being some okay sequels, a movie that I actually think could have and should have been just a one-off, because it's just such a good movie, and it could have just been like, yep, and move on. So you may or may not agree with me on that one, but
I don't agree, and we're gonna fight about it.
all right. I'm not again. Some of the sequels were quite good. I will happily acknowledge that, but it was just
It shouldn't be that hard to make a sequel. Is my thing.
Apparently, it is though. But it is a movie that, as a self-contained film, it is perfect.
Perfect.
Just about. Anyways, we will be back with that next week. But until then, have a good night.
Bye, everybody. Don't fall in.
There's doors and corners, kid. If you don't clear the room, if you don't come in slow, that room will eat you.